Hello students, in this video we will discuss about object-oriented programming concepts. Now the first term that we come across is programming paradigms. What does it mean? First I would like to define the term paradigm, which means it's a method to solve some problem or to do some task. Now what is a programming paradigm? It is an approach to solve problem using some programming language, or also we can say it is a method to solve a problem using tools and techniques that are available to us following some approach. So each language that we use, it has its own tools and techniques that we use to solve a particular problem or a particular question that has come. So what are programming paradigm? In simple language, we can say it is an approach or style of programming that is used to classify programming languages. Each programming language uses one or more programming paradigms. Now there are many programming paradigms, but the popular two ones are POPs and OOPS. POPs is procedure-oriented programming. In this programming paradigm, a complex programming problem is solved by dividing it into smaller problems using function. The stress is more on function in the procedure-oriented programming. Whereas object-oriented programming, in this programming paradigm, data and function are wrapped into a single unit, and the importance is given to the data in object-oriented programming. Let us see the difference between object-oriented programming and procedure-oriented programming. Now, in object-oriented programming, the stress is put on data rather than on the functions. And in procedure-oriented programming, the stress is more on the function rather than the data. Second difference is the data is restricted to be used in a specific program area. In a particular program area, only the data is restricted. But in procedure-oriented programming, data is free to flow throughout the program. Now, the approach in which object-oriented programming works is bottom-up programming approach, and your procedure-oriented programming follows the top-down programming approach. We will be discussing more about object-oriented programming in this video. Now, the four principles of object-oriented programming that we follow are encapsulation, polymorphism, abstraction, and inheritance. These are the four principles of object-oriented programming on which the entire programming is done. Let us learn in detail. So the first principle is data abstraction. Now what is data abstraction? Data abstraction is the act of representing the essential features without knowing the background detail. This is the definition of data abstraction. Now let us understand with the help of an example. Let us say you as a person, you have got your full name, you have got your address, you have got your contact number, tax information, you have got some favorite food, favorite movie, favorite actor, favorite band. But when you go for the banking application, they ask only for your name, address, contact number, and tax information. They don't want any other information about you, like about your favorite food or movie or actor or band. So it is not required. So what is the essential feature required for the bank? Your full name, your address, your contact number, and the tax information. Another example we can see is the switchboard example. In the switchboard, you are only dealing with the switch. You have to switch on the fan, you switch on the fan switch. You have to switch on the light, you switch on the light switch. You are not wanting to know what is behind the switchboard, what is the wiring, how it has been done. It is not required. So data abstraction is the act of representing the essential feature without knowing the background details. We come to the second principle. The second principle is encapsulation. Now, what is encapsulation? Encapsulation is the process of wrapping or combining the characteristics and behavior into a single unit of an object to form a unique identity. Now, wrapping, the word wrap, when you understand, means it wraps together or puts together or combines together. What it combines? The characteristics and behavior into a single unit of an object, and it forms a unique identity. You can see with the help of a capsule. In a capsule, you can see There are many small particles you can see. These particles you can say methods are there, variables are there. And the coating of the capsule together is called the class. So it becomes the capsule. The class is wrapping the method and variable together within it. So this is an example of encapsulation. Another example of encapsulation you can see is the car. The car has got the model. You have when you buy a car, you must be knowing you go by the model name, then you go by the speed, engine, speed limit. These are the features. After that, you go for the drive, like when you drive the car, how it feels when you stop, set speed number. So you can see drive, stop and set speed. These are the method or these are the functions of the car. But model, speed, engine, these are the number or these are the attributes we say of the car. So together when you combine, it forms a car. So the definition, the simple definition of encapsulation is the process of wrapping or combining the characteristics and behavior into a single unit of an object to form a unique identity. You might be a little confused at this point between abstraction and encapsulation. As I said, something similar for abstraction too, that it hides the background details. In fact, abstraction and encapsulation are complementary concepts. Abstraction focuses on the observable behavior of an object. Encapsulation focuses upon the implementation that gives rise to this behavior. Encapsulation is most often achieved through information hiding, which is the process of hiding all of the secrets of object that do not contribute to its essential characteristics. Hence, we can say that encapsulation is a way to implement data abstraction. As we'll be doing more about programming, you will understand this concept more clearly. We come to the next principle, that is inheritance. Now, what is the definition of inheritance? Inheritance enables new classes to receive or inherit the properties and methods of existing classes. Like for example, you can see car is a vehicle, bus is a vehicle, bike is a vehicle also, auto is a vehicle, and so on. This is just one of the example is a relationship. So you can say under the vehicle class, you can see it inherits the properties and methods of the vehicle class, but then they become different in the new processes, new behavior adopting it. But they inherit the basic properties and methods from the vehicle class. So car, bike, bus and truck, they are inheriting the properties and methods from the from the base class or the super class that is called as the vehicle class. And car, bike and bus and truck, these are called as my derived classes. Now we come to the last principle, that is polymorphism. Polymorphism is actually a combination of two terms, poly and morphism. Here the term poly means many and morphism means form. So it is the ability of objects to have many methods of the same name, but each one responds to different types of specific behavior as they have different forms. Like shapes. Different shapes, they have area. That is the common function they have. But circle has got one attribute, that is based on the radius, the area can be found. Triangle, it has got three sides. Based on three sides, the area can be found. And in rectangle, you have got two sides based on which the area can be found. So the area is the common function, but depending on the different attributes that they have, different areas will be calculated for all the different shapes. So these were the four principles of polymorphism. We'll discuss more about object-oriented programming in our further videos. Thank you, students.